French have their motor show in Paris, the Italians in Turin, the Swiss in Geneva. The British, on the other hand, like to be different, so we have ours in Marston Green. So does this mean perhaps that the global motor industry treats our show like some kind of village fete? Not this year, it doesn't. Right, let's start with the most important and exciting thing to be seen in Birmingham since they built the Bull Ring.
It's been designed in Britain.
It's been built in Britain.
It's a luxury car.
Steeped in history.
My lords, ladies and gentlemen,
Pray silence, please. For the
Jaguar S-Type.
Rover 75.
Mind if I go first? This is the first small Jaguar since the mid-50s, small though being a relative term. But it's meant to give the Audi A6 and the BMW 5 Series a damned good thrashing. And because Ford owned Jaguar, it shares certain componentry with the Lincoln LS. But mercifully, it doesn't look anything like the Lincoln. There'll be a 3-litre and a 4-litre engine, and prices go from 28,000 all the way up to 39. I reckon it's going to sell like Viagra.
A few rungs further down the ladder, we find the new Rover 75, which is a fabulous car for two very good reasons. One, it means they're no longer making the simply dreadful 800, and two, I think it looks fabulous. And then you come inside to find piped leather upholstery. It's like sitting in a Rolls Royce, and yet when it goes on sale in the spring, the 1.8-litre model will cost £19,000. It's going to compete with a Ford Mondeo and an Audi A4. For me, this is the star of the show. I know it's front-wheel drive, and as a result, probably won't set Tiff's pants on fire, but it looks so good. What I want to know, though, is this. Both Rover and Jaguar are now owned by Johnny Foreigner. So who's designing them, us or them? Who is holding the pen?
Well, according to Rover, the new 75 is British, from stem to stern.
BMW's input to the car certainly was not from a design perspective. Their only input in that sense was that they came along and said, fantastic, great car, get on with it.
Now, it's very obviously a Rover. There's a very strong family resemblance. How easy was that to achieve?
It was very easy. We knew what we wanted to do even before we put pen to paper. I think it starts with the face of the car, and the eyes in particular, the headlamps. The slightly hooded look, which gives the car a very serious expression, one of serious intent. And going rearwards from there, the forms flowing out of the grille give a feeling of strength and solidity to the car. Those chrome details pick out some essential design lines on the car, particularly the one that runs through the door handles and the chrome on the sill. Actually describe the shape of the car, particularly inside elevation.
How does this interior accord with the brand values you've got to support in Rover, all this Britishness and this patriotism?
Britishness is built into it. It's you look at the use of materials, you look at the leather, you look at the wood, you look at the discreet use of chrome. All of these are in the brand values. You look at that, you look back into the past and you can see all of that. However, it's all being done in an extremely modern way. It's a car you won't get sick of. You'll sit in this car and probably in a month or 6 weeks after you've bought it, you'll spot one more little refinement, one more little detail that is really just perfect for the car, and it's not something you'd see in anybody else's car.
We believe that the car will be incredibly successful because I think there's a real pent-up need in the marketplace for people wanting a desirable and characterful product, and something that isn't completely rational in terms of what you buy. You buy this car with your heart as well as your head, really, and I think people are looking for something like that out in the marketplace.
This is the S-Type of 1963, Jaguar's past. And this is Jaguar's future.
Looking down on it from the gods, what are the bits that really please you most?
I feel reasonably comfortable with the car. I think it's come across quite well, that blend of sportiness and boldness that we were looking for.
The front of a car is always very, very important. They've got to have a face, but it's even doubly important with the Jaguar, isn't it?
For Jaguar, it's an extremely emotive part of the whole car. I think with S-Type, one of the key elements of the design is the fact that the face is completely different from the face of the XJ and the XK, and strategically that's a very important difference between this car and our major competitors BMW and Mercedes-Benz, who will tend to have a similar face and small, medium and large versions of it.
Tell me about this waistline, this scallop that goes all the way down the car. What were you trying to achieve with that?
I think the first thing is that the whole visual architecture, the visual language, the visual statement of the car is really set up by that line, and the way that line falls from the front to the rear of the car, and also the fact that it's running the full length of the car. That's a classic Jaguar touch, an elegant touch, and those two lines and the way they juxtapose visually with one another set up a lot of the character of the side of the car.
If I had to be critical, I would say that the part of the car that doesn't work is the back. Now, why is that?
The rear end of the car, I think, is always difficult. An S-Type has to be a practical automobile. It has to have a generous trunk, it has to comply with lighting and bumper legislation globally, and we must achieve good aerodynamic performance, and those functional requirements do compromise the amount of individuality you can drive into the tail of the car.
And inside, how do I feel? I feel welcomed, cosseted, pampered, but most of all I feel important because I know I'm sitting